Mark's first, right? All right, the first order of business is 68 Newburyport Turnpike, Mark Savory, in regards to completing the stipulations as in his original permit for the release of surety. Hi, Chris.
How's everybody doing?
For the potential release of surety, which he has requested. We had a site visit on what date? And Kirk has followed up with a site visit. And I'm just going to open it up if any of the members have seen the site since we last visited. Again? Or Larry, have you gone out again?
No, I haven't. I did.
Well, Kirk has. And Mark, during that site visit, we observed some items that needed to be completed. You want to report on that?
Yeah, the line painting, forsythias, there was some trees in the front. Red twig, I can't remember what they were called. I put it all in, it was supposed to be in there.
Red twig
Rhododendrons on the right-hand side.
Okay.
And there was a white twig birch or something like that I planted. What was on the list? Rhododendrons, white twig birch, the forsythias, and there was a red twig dogwoods, that's what it was, the red and yellow twig dogwoods. And the line painting.
Yeah, this refers back.
And they were cleaning the yeah, I shouldn't have, I'm glad Laurie saw that, because the pipe was half full.
Do you have a receipt for that or a record of that you can submit to the
Shrubs?
planner? No, for the, well, either of them. Just kind of an affidavit that you did the work.
Yeah, I got pictures too, somewhere.
Well, just so it's-
Yeah, I'll get the
Leave it out
receipt
there?
from.
Yeah, I have some pictures.
I'll go through
Oh.
them.
But also it's just for the record, just for the
Yeah.
file.
Yeah, I'll get
So
it.
it's there that you certify that it was done and
Yep.
you have some backup?
Yeah, oh yeah, Wolf Hill,
All right,
that's right where they came from.
that would help, right? You want backup?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, we get some backup on that.
Well, there was some other issues, weren't there?
Clean on pipe. She says it's done.
Cleaned out catch basin. The other thing, you know, that I believe on the plan, those vehicles that are parked out on Route 1? You know,
There's only two allowed on Route 1.
What?
There's only two allowed down there. Yes.
I thought conditions of approval would operate on the asphalt only.
There was
Yeah.
two spots in the, on the plan.
What about for the right side where the hot trucks are parked?
Yeah, it's on the,
Those two spots are.
if you get a copy of the plan, it's actually.
You have the plan?
Do we have
We just look at the plan again, so we...
okay.
How many you have, I mean, you had some stuff for sale signs right on the corner there, right? In the end of the driveway? Is that something you can remove, or?
What sale signs?
Yeah, well, you know, those trucks are for sale, the ones that are right on Route 1? Or are they just, what are they there for? Well, you know where, right on the,
Well,
here, you want, well,
yeah,
This is the existing.
this is,
I don't know, that's,
Yes. There's two spots along.
Yes,
right
yes.
there.
so you're right about
Yeah.
that. So those will
okay,
go.
all right.
So you got two vehicles in those spots?
actually, I got a mini excavator there, which is a vehicle.
I thought one of them was a little lift.
Yeah, it's a little,
There's a bunch of lawnmowers down here, though, right?
there's a couple one
All right, just so you're aware of that, okay, you have two spots there. Now, what are you
There's
referring to?
no pavement there, right?
Is it supposed to be
No,
paved?
No.
I'd rather not have it paved.
Where's the house, here?
No.
This is the house?
Pictures of that.
What about everything that's over here?
Yeah.
that's all storage.
You're only supposed to be operating here though, right?
Is this part of your business or part of the people of the house?
I
Is that excess vehicles for you? or what
I
do you-
rent storage.
You rent storage for vehicles?
Yes.
Well, if it, I don't know, is there anything supposed to be over there? What's going on way up and back over here?
Yeah.
Rent storage.
More
What is it?
Storage.
Was that in the agreement for,
I don't know, I talked to my father tonight, I was trying to get him, he was got a bad hip, he's like, just been going on since 1950-something?
over there since 1957? You've been on Route 1 since then?
No, my father has been on since 71 before that, though.
Well, when it was.
Actually, I'm just trying to find out what's going on with this anyway.
Well, it's all one, it's all one parcel, though, right? I mean, my other concern was what's going on way up and back there.
It's
because
rented.
nobody went to look at.
Yeah,
Because
renting
didn't
space.
it used to be, done the landscape?
Yeah, done landscape
And
was there
was
for a
he
while.
leasing from your father that
Yeah.
spot, or did he own
Yeah.
that? He was leasing that from your father?
Yeah.
So back then, it was just manure and a
That's right,
couple of
that's where
his,
John was.
a couple of his construction trucks, right? It just seems awfully crowded
Oh, yeah.
lately.
The taxes in this town are pretty expensive, so you gotta kind of rent some space to offset.
But selectmen, don't they set the number of vehicles that you
Yes.
can sell?
Yes.
What is that number?
60.
I think it's 60.
I mean,
60?
our decision only...
This says 60, right?
Yeah, that's basically.
Right.
I'm sorry. Continued construction and continued maintenance of no more than 60 proposed wholesale vehicle parking spaces.
Where's that?
Number 3 on the original COV.
Okay. It also says,
So, go back.
the wholesale vehicle sales only, so is storage contemplated?
Well, it's 6.
I was going to make that comment.
I think to the right is
Go ahead,
that.
let Cliff has it.
Well, I was gonna say that our decision only covers the lower part. Okay. Because that's what we approved. We didn't have anything to do with the upper levels. And that those are really, as far as I can see, they're enforcement issues for the town that would be enforced through the building inspector and the zoning board of appeals, not really with this board.
Yeah, we need to
That's how I look at it, so.
we need to focus on these two approvals.
That's what I would say, yeah, and not get into these other extraneous issues about what, you know, whether these are valid, non-conforming uses or not.
You could take action just on the site plan issues in regards to the surety, and then at the same time direct Ken Ward to
Or, no,
take,
ask him, or do.
ask Ken Ward to take
Yeah, ask
action.
him. Yeah, I think that's how we'd have to proceed.
But you're saying that you wouldn't feel comfortable holding the surety.
For those other issues, no, I don't think so. I think we should just focus on these decisions and that's it.
Yeah, Larry, he was issued, Mark, you were issued the license because at that time, the only incomplete work was some of the landscaping, so.
Down to the site, what?
Yeah, I mean, it was saying that the Class 2 license, which you have, right, may be issued if the only incomplete work is landscaping and the surety was posted.
But if he's exceeding the limitation on the number of vehicles for sale, now that's a violation of this permit.
Yeah, have you exceeded something?
Frank comes down all the time, well, once a year, counting. I think
Is
it's
it Frank?
Frank. Is his name Frank? The kid in the right of the Blue Crown Victoria.
That's
Oh.
Frank.
That's
Is it
correct.
Frank?
The
That's
health
correct.
inspector.
He's got his,
Health
he's singing, he goes by and he counts them,
You count the cars?
yeah,
Oh, really?
every year.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Everybody. Tim, who was that, Dick Lockhart, anyone's got a license,
Oh, really?
National Auto
Oh,
Sales.
well, that's nice.
Fred Hardy,
Oh, for the auto sales, right.
yeah.
What about signage is supposed to be no more than 12 square feet?
What's that?
Signage is supposed to be no more than 12 square feet?
That's what it says?
Not that,
Here's a picture of the sign.
yeah, Article 4, outdoor sign not exceeding 12 square feet.
On each side. It's not very big.
Oh, here it is.
It's not very big, but what's,
Right, that's,
3x4.
I see the ones that they use on the highways, I saw one up there on the top
that
of
doesn't
level.
really exceed, that's really not much
It
weird.
doesn't look like it.
No, that's not, Mark, do you know what that is?
You know what, I'm trying to figure it out because I really don't know what it is. I know when I had it made, I gave the, Doug sign,
Okay,
the thing there,
Okay.
Guy Salisbury.
yeah, that looks,
I made it shaped like a man. You know what, the sign doesn't even matter to me, honestly. Doesn't matter. It's all advertised, it's all internet now.
all right, Kirk, you went out there, what is it?
Yeah, and I put out, like, with some of the pictures there, he does have have the lines painted striped onto the parking area. You might want to take a look at them, they're not like, I don't know if there's like a standard that you would expect for professional jobs for,
Yeah, they don't look like the normal.
Yeah, I
Kinda
rented
looks
one of
like
those
it-
things from Home Depot, they got the 4 wheels that Jay Karam said to use, and I bought that marking paint. And we snapped a line to make sure they're straight. We went down the marking thing twice. I don't know, it doesn't seem as wide as like the highway.
There
But
was
either
at least
way-
one line that didn't seem very straight.
Yeah.
I know, the can got jammed up a little. I'm obviously a guy that tries to do everything ourselves, you know? In business for yourself, it's tough.
I mean, considering the type of use we're talking about, I have no problem with the sign, you know, the lines.
No, just that it's visibly improved.
Yeah,
and,
right, it's a good thing that they're.
They actually help, I'm kind of surprised, I mean, trucks are wider some of them, but it's, when you look in the mirror, it's a lot easier to send it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it does help.
I mean, we're just trying, it's gonna refer, I mean, these have been sitting out there now for 10 years.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right.
And they're
Right.
perpetual, they keep going.
I've been spending a lot of time doing buying stuff there, it's better there.
The catch basin has been cleaned out. There's a picture of that
Mhm.
in there, so that was another thing. And the landscaping's been installed, so I got additional pictures of that. There was a big, what's the sign that's out front having to do with the wall?
Cliff Bassford there?
Yeah, there's a big sign that's along the highway,
Stone, yeah.
along the stone
What are you
wall.
renting that one out
Stone
to?
walls.
Yeah, he's been renting to him for, as long as I can remember, actually.
That might be something, I don't know about.
Guy's wicked good with stone walls, boy, he's like
Oh, where-
an artist. Tried building the
Sorry,
wall, he
I
just
saw-
came over and he just knows exactly where each rock
I
is
saw her sample,
gonna
yeah.
go. He's
Yeah,
good,
I mean-
he's really, he's an
I'm not
artist.
gonna get, I don't,
I mean, that would still be a
it's
separate.
existing.
It should be.
Separate
zoning
enforcement
issue,
issue.
it's an issue.
Well, but it is, I mean, technically, if it's not shown on the site plan, I don't think it's allowed, but I don't know, I'm not that concerned about it.
I think we just have to
It's not a
remove,
real garish looking sign.
no,
It's a nice stone wall.
I think it would be.
I have more problems if the vehicles aren't placed in the place that they're
Yeah.
described to be.
Me too.
And the,
Yeah, the thing, the excavator might actually be about 5 feet away from where those lines are.
Yeah, because that's unsightly, I mean, if you wanna run, we're trying to.
I thought people like looking at those things. The excavators and bobcats.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Fine, they can drive in, and knock themselves out.
and there's the lid sign that's for sale, I guess, but it's been used to.
Yeah, you know what, yeah, he said I use them in business, and I said no, and I started thinking about it. I think I actually had, we buy trucks on there for a while, so you are right. That's why I haven't been out there, because I never thought there was nothing against that, but, I don't wanna take it, I don't wanna rock the boat, I'm all set.
Well, you can read.
I've got it for sale.
I mean, every town has a sign bylaw, and you can read ours, it's not.
I know, but it was like a flashing sign, like on the highway, they don't need a permit, you know, they just put them out. You see all kinds of, they do a fair, they have,
We don't know, town doesn't allow
yeah,
flashing
so either way, it was a
signs.
gray area, I was wrong.
Yeah.
You brought it up and that was it.
There might be an allowance for a temporary permit if there's a festival or something.
Well, over on the
Flashing
side, yeah.
signs are not allowed.
Permanent.
Yeah, no, I was
Right.
definitely wrong.
Over
You're
on the
right, you
side
called
of
me
the
on, I
phone
was right, you were
truck,
right.
there's a huge sign on it that says "We buy trucks." That's off of the side where it's not paved. I mean, that sign's more than 12 feet through.
Yeah, I can tell you about those truck signs. That guy put one down at Veterans, that truck, we buy junk cars, or whatever it says.
Yep.
I went to the police, I went to the state police, I went to the town, because we were renting the junkyard to A to Z, and that was hurting their business. Went to Ken Ward, there is nothing they could do about that truck, because it's allowed to be there. And I went everywhere. And that was hurting, actually, that junkyard kind of having a lot of problems.
Which
with
one,
that.
Mark?
Right on the corner where Veterans Gas, well, I call it Veterans Gas Station.
Yeah.
Right across from the.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, right.
I mean, Bill Cuddy's got the illegal signs there for repair everywhere,
They're
all
all
over
over the
town.
place, yeah.
The yellow and white ones. and-
It's really something that, it's.
Those signs are
it's
hideous.
something that
No one says anything.
we have to work in
We're working on
conjunction to try
Yeah,
to
those
work
things are
on.
horrible.
Writing the sign ordinance.
So, just one thing at a
Well-
time, just.
I wonder if we can agree to release the bond as soon as he, you know, moves the vehicles that aren't supposed to be where they are and gets rid of any signs that aren't.
And just
aren't allowed
submits an
by the
affidavit,
city.
submits it.
Or we can just have Kirk go out and check it and make
Mhm.
sure everything looks okay.
Yeah,
I mean, we can leave it up to Kirk in terms of whether it's done or not.
yeah.
Because it is 10 years. It's not like it was yesterday.
A long time.
And I just frankly, I was on the committee then, and my husband happened to be having surgery that day, and I couldn't be here, and I would have voted against it, only because I expected this situation to continue and that we'd be chasing it. So,
Well, you're kind of right about that.
yeah, right?
Yeah, I should have just.
until Mark decided to actually do something. I mean,
I'm a little bit of a, I get going in many directions. ADD, I guess you want to call it. If you ask me, that's why I'm
We're
successful.
televised.
Yeah.
That's right. I think ADD is a good thing. I think I'm successful because of this. I'm serious. I can talk to you and I can all of a sudden just change and buy a truck over here. I can go buy a house over there instantly, just boom.
All right, why don't we resolve it so we can go buy a house?
They're all too expensive now. Prices are up.
Is that a motion?
well, I want a motion, I still want a letter.
Yeah, I'll get
Just
it.
the things you actually did. I have done the striping.
Yeah.
Landscaping?
So, yeah, there'll be a final inspection by our planner, and that you did install the landscaping, this is evidence of that.
Yeah, okay.
It's only a paragraph.
What's it called? An affidavit?
Well, it's just a paragraph letter saying you did it with a receipt.
Paragraph letter saying I did.
People
the
question you
landscaping,
actually do it.
striped the
With some
lines,
kind of
Some kind of backup.
significant backup that it's
receipts
done.
for all the landscaping. I'll never.
What do you mean significant?
Some
Receipt, just that it was done.
receipts or
Oh.
some.
Yeah, and then Kurt
Documentation
can,
of the
Yeah.
landscape.
with the file, have the pictures can be part of it as well, just to show that we're followed up, that's all. It's nice that Kurt can do an inspection again, I mean, he's already gone out, we have pictures, that show.
So we shouldn't have to have another meeting if everything goes well.
No?
Yeah.
Do you want a motion?
Yes.
I'll move that we release the bond in its entirety, subject to the owner complying with all the provisions of the site plan, including vehicles being parked in their proper places, signage, and landscaping, as verified, to be verified by Kurt, town planner.
Second, with the amendment of Mark providing a written
Okay.
affidavit or paragraph that he has done that work.
And that you're authorized, right, your owner?
You don't mean a sworn?
No,
I
your
just-
owner, Mark, right? Owner, in your capacity as owner,
Just-
that's all.
Right over there.
I'm the one that put them in, so I know I did it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Me,
Aye.
You opposed?
I'm opposed. No
I
comment.
think also, let it be noted for the record, in the minutes, that Kirk will reach out to the building inspector for those items that were brought up tonight that are outside of the conditions of the permit. It could be potential enforcement items that maybe they may have to be revisited
Yeah.
in another kind of site plan or another
Too much going on down there for me to go along with.
You got that was 1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
Chris, well, pretty soon.
See,
We'll see.
need that one vote, I'm counting on
You're
it.
running out of time.
Right in?
If you lose, you have a lot of explaining to do.
Yes, I do. Take nothing for granted.
And that's
Can't.
actually a week from,
You know, but that's how, when you're opposed, you don't even know when the election date is, so.
well, maybe voting. You still have to vote.
First Tuesday in May, I think.
Mark, you're all set. Keep in touch with Kurt.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Kurt. The second item of business is 706, 708 Jim Bussing, Haverhill Street, that is. Again, a similar situation where we have a shared driveway. And it's accompanying the pertinences and improvements to get a status report towards the end of releasing surety on that as well. This is you can look in your packets, there are some plans there to look at, and there's original permits as well.
I do have a letter
And
from Larry.
you can see those are exhibits B1 through B5, including the surety document for the bond that was originally posted, and the acceptance back in 2012, and also a legal easement for utilities in the common driveway, as well as a special permit certificate of vote, and the plan of land. So if you have any questions, you can put that out for reference before we
from Larry.
And, yeah, then we got the Florida Larry too.
And
All right, who's here? You guys, you wanna,
Morris Cassidy from Cassidy
yeah,
Bus.
are there any busings here? Representative, I didn't think so. I'm looking around, I didn't see him. We have Larry, you wanna briefly?
Sure.
On
My
his
letter
house.
basically says that the dwelling on lot number 3, which is 708, is complete and occupied, appears to be occupied. The dwelling on lot 2, which is number 706, is still ongoing, the work is still ongoing. And accordingly, I do not recommend that the board release the funds until the site work is done on lot 2. It's really an extension of the end of the common driveway.
And we're only it's only $5,000 surety deposit, that's it. You understand, that was a check that was given to us in 2012 for this driveway,
Right.
of $5,000 for utilities and,
Yep.
is there fencing, whatever it needs to be done.
Everything is, that 5,000 was basically for the maintenance of the driveway itself until all the construction is complete.
Right,
all the
because
improvements
the
were
usage
in.
during the construction, right.
Is it just you have 2-lot subdivision?
Yeah.
So everything's done, nothing,
No.
Everything's done, but I recommended the $5,000 for maintenance of the driveway until they finish building both houses.
okay.
And lot number 2 is not done yet.
Sounds sensible to me.
The house.
That's probably why he's not here, because
Right.
it's just,
I'll contact him and let him know.
Okay, the next order of business, thank you, Larry, that's pretty clear.
Yeah,
Do we have to do any motion or anything?
Yeah, you probably should.
No, can I have a motion to,
Take no action?
well, first of all, Larry's comments are backed up in a letter that's dated April 25th for the record, that recommends, based on the status of the construction, both relating to the house and the driveway, which the surety is being held for during that time, that it not be, let it be noted that the review engineer recommends that it not be released at this time.
Right, well, I'll make a motion that we not release the bond at this time for the reasons stated by our consultant.
Second.
third,
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
One other note on that, if maybe Kirk could get in touch with Mr. Buss and give him the news of your action tonight. They really should have a house number signed for 706. They've got one for 708, but public safety wise, people working there, they should have that number out.
So I guess they've been marketed for a while, so soon as spring and things, you know, there could be some action at some point. Right, they've been marketed, the signs. And Kirk, the next, so you're gonna touch, you might wanna go out and get familiarized with that project too.
With the busing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, and here's some pictures, like, I went out there today, just to.
Nice photographs.
Did you mark them? Mark them after.
are they numbered?
Oh, no, I
Number
just.
them in green, well, just mark the
Oh, I
dates.
see, yeah,
And the address.
okay, yeah. I just printed them out directly from the camera.
You know, we might also entertain a site visit before we, you know, have this on the agenda.
Again, yeah.
Okay,
It's a good idea,
is that all right?
sure.
Thanks, Kirk, for going out there.
Possible.
Do a site visit just to see how these types of developments turn out. You know, whether it's something-
This one's really quite nice.
Yeah, the photographs look nice.
Nice piece of property. there.
Long driveways this far.
I think it's adjacent to a parcel of
Yeah,
land.
that's
It's adjacent to a parcel of land I believe the town acquired for the
Oh, is that the one
Conservation
where they
Commission.
got 2.5 acres?
I think there's some wetlands in
Yeah.
10 acres of the town.
Yeah, I think that's the wetlands, I didn't include that picture, but I got.
So
a
that
picture
will be in
from the
purpose, that won't be developed.
Good.
So, um, those are good photographs.
Can I see those?
And that color, yeah, and I think Concom eventually is gonna have to sign off on this too, right?
I think they already have.
The box they have?
I think they have, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
Just
about
check to see if there's a COC on that.
it. Okay.
Right. The next order of business, 545 Newburyport Turnpike, Fox Meadows, Is Fox Meadows here? Okay. This is a revisiting of a request. People's attention on this, they've been waiting to do more research and whatever, I'll hear what you've been doing. This initial request came, in the fall?
It did come in the fall.
And we have a memo dated April 3rd, which again, if people have that memo, that's C1. This is Fox Meadows, everybody knows Fox Meadows? David?
I know.
Know it well. I'm writing the letter on behalf of Fox Meadows Condominium Association to ask if it would be possible to meet with the planning board, which you're doing at our meeting. Is this pertinent to this?
Yeah, it's, I contacted the fire department and the police department. They had already made comments previously
Oh, that,
to the
okay.
board, to the town administrator.
The association is requesting a street name change from the current street name of Newburyport Turnpike to Fox Meadows Drive.
Yes.
The current addresses of Fox Meadow units are 545 Newburyport Turnpike, 1 through 28. Having a Route 1 address is confusing to many people attempting to locate our neighborhood, as we are on a separate road, I guess a private road, right? The Board of Trustees has reviewed this and discussed it with the members. They voted unanimously to formally request the town change the name of our street to Fox Meadows Drive. We would request that our unit numbers become our house numbers in Fox Meadows Drive. For example, the address of 545 Newburyport Turnpike, Unit 19 would be 19 Fox Meadows Drive. We are making this request on behalf of the Condominium Association, which represents 28 residential condominiums. This would bring us in line with the other Raleigh condominium developments that already have street names for association roads. As you recall, what do we call Pingree? Jean?
It changed, it's Bridlewood.
Bridlewood. Board members representing the association have met with the Board of Selectmen, who said that a meeting with the planning board would be in order. Town planner Kurt Baker suggested that we could become part of the 30th meeting agenda. Karen Herrick, secretary, and Karen, you're here. And so, before you speak, just give your name and your association to the agenda item, and come on down if you'd like. And if members have any questions, obviously after the presentation, feel free to.
Yes, basically we have 28 units at Fox Meadows.
State your name again.
Karen Herrick, and I am on the Board of Trustees, and I've been on the board since the board's inception, the turnover from the developer in 2008. And with me tonight is Dwayne Brown, who is the chairman of the Board of Trustees. And he's also been, on the board since 2008. So basically, our we would like to have our name changed to reflect, what is done with condominiums in Raleigh, what has been done, we have Raleigh Country Club, we have Heritage Way, to name several. And our condominium would be more aligned with other condominiums. Because we really don't face Route 1, is there anyone not familiar with Fox Meadows? Okay. Fox Meadows is, Dwayne, could you hand me those pictures, please? Thank you. Has a large frontage on Route 1, a significant frontage. And you can see it from the bottom picture. And there's a private road that's about 5/8 of a mile long that runs, that is part of our development, it's our road. And it starts at Newburyport Turnpike. But as I mentioned, none of the units actually face onto Route 1. They face on the private road. And being a private road, we don't have access to town services for that road. In other words, we pay for our own snow plowing, any road repair, that's all taken up. So, because, and there's other complexes also like ours along Route 1. There's two, as a matter of fact, in Topsfield. You're probably familiar with English Commons. And English Commons has its own name. They're not, Boston Street is the name for Route 1 in Topsfield. And also, there's another complex that, is right aligned with Route 1, but their name is Fairway Drive. So, you mentioned Pingree Farms, and, we would like to have because we don't live on a turnpike, we would like to have it, as I mentioned, to be more aligned. And, it is a problem for locating, because when people are coming, up to our property, there are some commercial properties along the way, and there are no house numbers really in any proximity. So you can be on Route 1 and you can be down by, beyond Weathersfield Street southbound, and you don't know where you are on Route 1. You can easily pass us. So there's been confusion. There's been confusion for packages being delivered because it's along 545 Newburyport Turnpike, Unit 19. A lot of times that Unit 19, or whatever unit it is, gets cut off, and the package, if it's not the United States Post Office, there can be problems with that. So, we do think that, we would like to see that our, complex have a name that is more reflective of not living. We don't live on a turnpike. People say to us, "You live on a turnpike." We don't. We have units that are selling for over $400,000, and we pay, whose owners pay considerable taxes, and our own private road. So, Dwayne, do you have anything to add?
No, not really. I think you covered it pretty well.
So do the condominium owners unanimously agree to this change?
The condominium owners, we've had straw votes with them, and we've had surveys, and, they, by, a majority have agreed to do this, and each time. And there've been 3 occasions where we believe, we want everybody to give their input at Fox Meadows, and basically, the board, as was stated in your letter, was unanimously, voted on, requesting for a name change for the complex.
We did discuss it at our last annual meeting, which was in November.
Are they aware that if this happens, they're gonna have to change all their licenses?
Yes, they are. And the good thing about this is the fact that, I live at Fox Meadows. If, for instance, I moved to Newburyport, and I lived at 2 Main Street, let's say, in Newburyport, my mail would be forwarded by the Raleigh Post Office for a year to that address, and then it would just be deemed undeliverable. We visited the post office, and we talked about, what would happen with the name change, and they said at the time that they explained the process, and they said that all mail that says Raleigh on it comes to that post office. In other words, if somebody wrote a letter and addressed it to IBM Corporation, 100 Main Street, Raleigh, Mass, well, we know there's no IBM here, but it would go to the post office. So I was told, because of that, if someone, sent a letter to me, because of the street name change, and I'm living at Fox Meadows, it's Fox Meadows Drive now, and somebody, in more than a year goes by and they send a letter to me, I would still get it, because they would know, 545 Newburyport Turnpike, that is the name change, and they would deliver it. So unlike if you moved out of the city, so it works a little differently.
The house on that street on the right-hand side before you hit the circle,
Yes.
is his address the same as this?
His address is Newburyport Turnpike also.
Is it 531?
Is that man here?
No, he isn't.
He isn't here?
No.
I've been down there numerous times, and I have no problem with your name change at all, but
He has to change his
But this guy, you know, I think he should have some say in it, and I think leave this as the original name of the street, and then change your name to whatever you want for Circle.
Well, see, this is part, where it goes to Route 1 is part of our road. It's considered part of our road.
Part of the private drive.
It is part of it,
Yes.
and
And if you look at the
Yeah.
original COV, both of them, it's issued to both of them.
the police department would rather have it solved as,
I see, all right, I
See
hear
the
you,
original
okay,
special
yeah.
C, it's
Yeah.
issued
All
to
right,
both
yeah.
of them.
That particular
so he
house,
needs a number that will
It's
be,
issued to Durand as well.
a Fox
on yours.
Meadows Drive,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
has anybody talked to him?
Yes, we have, you know, our
There
property.
has
in-
been conversation.
Has the house been there,
They
how
have
how
the,
long has the house been there versus how long you might?
It was there
They were there
before.
before.
It was there before. They were off of Paul Duran's property.
Yeah. Well, apparently he must not have any bones with it, because he'd be here objecting.
Well, I think.
I heard that he was against it, right, is it?
Well, he
Yeah.
wasn't, you know, for it. He didn't express any endorsement for it. However, you know, he is, you know, on his front door faces our private road, and he does, you know, from the edge of the road, Newburyport Turnpike, to his driveway is right around 380 feet. So he uses our private road for egress and naturally, and for entrancing the property, and he is not, you know, he doesn't pay at all for any snow removal, because that's our road. He doesn't pay for any kind of road.
Yeah, but that's
repair.
not
Well, if he was there.
That's not really what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Well,
That's an internal.
he also has a difficult time with people trying to find his property. He's recently erected a sign out there that says 531 Newburyport Turnpike, right against the wood line. As you come into the property, there's a circle there, and he's erected a 531 sign that sits there. It's white backed. So the people that are visiting his home are finding the same difficult issue. All right. So I think it would definitely benefit him as well as us.
Except
far
that
as
he has to go through all of his,
Well, just like everybody else.
Just
he has
like
to
everybody
change
else
his-
does.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
and-
like everyone else
and
does.
Would that include the deed too?
No.
The deed of his property?
I don't believe so, no.
No, it isn't.
Well, then,
No.
I wonder. I just
I
wondered.
thought he would be here tonight if.
Can I have to read, I mean, I think, and I don't mean to, interrupt, I just don't want to get into that aspect of it. Although I'm not disputing any of that. But we have to kind of look at the plan and the way it is and the development the way it is. If the police department, and I won't read the whole letter because it'll be all late, but the police department is pretty clear back in, and you know this because you've read this, and you've had since November 8th to kind of weigh in on it, that we take, well, I don't know, I do. I mean, I think the board takes these comments very seriously, you know, in terms of this kind of application. And would wish that 531 be converted to a number associated with Fox Meadows Drive.
Mhm.
So any vote we take, and as Steve pointed out, if we're taking that vote, we're talking about condominium units, what, through 28, right?
1
Right,
through 28.
28 people, yeah.
Well, it's,
28.
But how do we exclude this?
Can't.
I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to see,
Because
an-
they use the same access drive, so.
I know, I mean, I have to see a letter, an updated letter dated before this meeting saying that police department's cool with leaving that Newburyport Turnpike.
No,
This isn't-
No, I don't.
No,
I
they're
think it's
suggesting that it,
No, but I would say, and for me to take that
Well-
vote tonight, I would have to have them amend, because they would have to be contacted. Right now, they're saying clearly, okay, that, or they're
they're positive.
although there's a sign, as you state, in the traffic circle
Mhm.
that states 531 Newburyport Turnpike,
Right.
I assume that starting at Route 1 on in will now become Fox Meadows Drive,
Yeah.
Mhm.
correct?
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that.
But yet,
That's the
internally,
wish.
you'll have the guy with the frontage on the cul-de-sac, so to speak, whatever, the circle,
Mhm.
is Newburyport Turnpike.
No, you
No,
have to be
he's-
switched to Fox Meadow.
Well, I know, but
And
that's what I'm
the-
saying.
And that's what the police department.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying, but I'm backing into this, the sense that, how, can we take, you obviously represent a unanimous vote at your association, which
28 units.
is all 28 units, which we all clearly understand,
Sure.
and would be voting based on that unanimous vote.
Well, I have a question before.
But however, how can I vote for
Before we,
someone who's not
before
here?
we get to that, I mean, is it our role to approve the name change, or are we gonna vote, and simply say that we have no objection. I mean, who is the deciding authority on
Where it's a
this?
private road, I mean,
Yeah, theoretically, right, I'm talking theoretically, right.
So, I mean, I think it's more
Didn't we
of,
vote last time?
Good
no, I
point.
don't think so.
We endorsed
Yeah.
the change for Pingree?
I think we said we had
Pingree Farm?
no objection
What
to
did we
it.
say? Yeah, we
And-
said, we let them change it, they came in, oh, you can change it.
But I think our vote,
Because you have this other person, you
Well,
can't
that's-
say,
it's a
okay,
com-
you can't be 531 anymore,
it's
you have to be.
complicated,
Yeah, it's kind
more
of,
complicated.
but I mean, his interests are in line with 28 other people and
Well, are
no
they?
We
different.
would
Ah,
think,
well,
it-
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying in line, but I'm just saying they're of equal weight. So so even if we have one person objecting, and we don't know that he does object, but 28 people support it, they're all affected equally, so I can't see how.
Well, part of this, I mean,
Well, he was there for
You know,
us too.
consider the majority's interest.
I mean, I wasn't on the board when this COB, can I just read this,
Yeah.
this interest
Well,
along
they
these
were-
lines?
I'm sorry, when they first, when the project first came, when Mr. Durand was presenting his project, I think their names Domains were here because they were very concerned about where they would be in this development.
Mhm.
You know, what would happen to them because their access was going to be changed. So I don't know if they, you know, do they still feel the same way or?
The one thing I,
Because it makes it
It's-
different. I mean, I understand that the condominium association is all in agreement, and I think that's a great idea, but just because they're one and you're 28, I mean, they need, like, it's 1 to 1, not 1 to 28, is how I feel.
On a private road.
Yeah, and it's so complicated there because, of course, they don't have immediate access to Route 1.
I mean, is this guy gonna knock on the door and say, hey, who you people changed the name of my street?
well, that's, I'm sort of asking, is this really our role to approve this?
Well, that's
Because
Good
it-
point.
That's a very good point, because we did meet with the Board of Selectmen. Deb Egan had suggested, when we called initially, to have a meeting with the Board of Selectmen on this. And on November 18th, we met with the Board of
Right, you
Selectmen.
did, right.
Yes, we did. And at that meeting, the Board of Selectmen were, you know, expressed no concern over it. Several of them were very, you know, were enthusiastic about it. And it was announced by one of those members that the police chief supported the name change, as did the selectmen. They indicated this change would play in with the 911 system, which is clearly an important
Well, I
factor.
understand all your points, but
Yeah.
you know, I
But
think
what did
the
they
guy
say
who
about
owns
our
that-
involvement? Did
They
say-
said that the planning board actually works with site plans.
Well, I was about to read that, I was about to read that sentence, that's why. The only concern they had was that input from the planning board would be required as to whether there were any buildable lots or possible frontage areas which could further affect the numbers.
Well, no, in those areas owned by the condominium association, no other buildings can be built, so I
No.
don't know what other frontage is
So
out
we would
there.
further need to decide whether to
It's
number,
all conservation land.
Yes.
Yes.
we would further need to decide whether to
Well-
number the units sequentially around the roadway as appear to be now, or to issue even numbers as they usually do on one side and odd on the other.
I'm gonna
They're all on
suggest,
one side.
He's only one man, but
They're
I'd
all
like
on
to
one
see it.
side.
I'm gonna suggest that we vote simply that we have no objection to the name
I
change.
don't have an objection to it, I
I
think
know.
it's a good
No,
idea.
I think
And
it's
then
good.
we-
I got no objection.
We defer to the numbering suggested by the police chief.
Right.
And he's the one that does it.
Yeah.
And I think the police chiefs and the fire department are on the same page on this.
But,
If you look
but,
at it.
That's what the selectmen thought,
Yeah.
yeah.
but, you know, maybe we should communicate to the police chief that no additional homes can be built on the condominium land and check out if there's enough additional frontage
I think
outside of the condominium land to be subdivided. You know,
that there
so
is
how
a,
much,
Isn't that a big enough lot? It could be subdivided.
do you know how much frontage he has by any chance?
He doesn't have enough room, because that had been looked into at one particular point or another.
Yeah.
It's a big enough lot if
He
there was
wanted-
enough
If
frontage.
he had enough frontage, but he doesn't have enough.
Why doesn't it have enough frontage?
Then the-
Because of the curve in the road.
Who owns the land on the left?
So,
Right. And
so there can be no, I'm
There's
sorry,
no-
there can be no new
On
homes
the
built.
left,
No.
as you go into the property, that's our property.
Larry, can you
Right.
And
weigh
it's a
in
very
on that?
narrow section of property, because it's mostly conservation property.
Right.
Can you weigh in on that?
Well, my recollection is he doesn't have enough frontage to split off another lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if this is a private road, so he couldn't split another lot off of this private road by getting frontage on the private road.
Right.
And when this development started, because my recollection is there was one dirt gravel drive that went to Duran's and these people's, and I can't remember their names.
Yeah, Dumaine, I think.
And so, you know, what we have now is the same situation, one road, instead of it being paved, instead of it being a gravel road, it's now a paved road, it's to be Fox Meadow Drive.
It's a nicely paved, maintained road.
Yeah.
We have all the maintenance done.
I do have one question, I think you still have all your mailboxes out front. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And what would happen with those?
They'd remain there. And Mr. Dumaine has the Dumaines have a mailbox in there.
Their mail is there also?
Yes.
Oh,
So
really?
why
Yeah.
wouldn't you
Wow, that's something to consider.
have your mail, why wouldn't they deliver your mail because it's a private road to each unit then?
And that's kind of customarily with a lot of condo complexes, that they
Yeah,
have
they
a
do.
mailbox out front.
Or even
Yeah.
long development, developments like in Andover, some of these developments have really long
Yeah,
driveways.
so that'll stay.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
that would
the
stay.
post office doesn't want to go right down in the end of the cul-de-sacs. I just have one question really, could they come out to Route 1 and subdivide that lot, Larry?
Subdivide which
I mean,
lot?
I'm saying, if they didn't use the private way, the circle,
Who?
those lots, is there, I have to.
They
see
don't
that
own
lot.
it, they don't own the property out there, we
No.
do.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they
own the
must have,
frontage.
they have a right of access to it.
Right of
Yes.
access is all they have.
Now, whether, I don't
A
know.
right of access through the stretch of property on Route 1?
I don't know whether.
On our
Our
driveway.
pri-
Through their driveway. I mean,
Our
that's,
private road.
So they
No,
have
but
no
is there
frontage
more
on Route
frontage on Route 1 that they can,
They have some frontage before, as you're headed north, before you get to Fox Meadow
that's what I
Drive.
meant.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
but that would be,
That's not their property though, that belongs to us.
So,
Out on Route
Their
1?
property
Yes.
doesn't actually start until you get to the stone
Right,
wall
'cause
that's
what was-
inbound
what
from.
was
well,
there-
we, we made, actually required Duran to buy that piece and add it to your development. Because there was a, if you lived in, familiar with the town before, that there was a hideous broken down building on that lot.
They
Oh,
got,
yeah.
they got that one
Yeah,
down.
there was some junk or something.
Next to the restaurant, next to
Yeah.
Samar's, yeah. It
Uh,
was just an
Larry-
accident.
Larry
Actually,
Levine's
it's
property.
not, actually, it's not Samar's, it's the Olive Cafe or something now. Yeah,
Most
it
northern
was
one.
Danielle's at one
Right.
particular point.
Right.
But all of that frontage along Route 1.
Well, you're right,
is
that-
part
but
of
that,
ours.
I recall now that Duran bought that lot at our request. And that can't be sold to anyone else, because that's covered by conservation restrictions. Of course, you know, he might buy the restaurant and try to put a subdivision road through there, but it would be a different road, so what would be the issue?
how did the homeowner?
Well, you
get in
can't really
before
go
you
through
guys
there
got
because there's,
Theoretically.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
all sorts of wetlands back
Yeah,
there,
right.
you know.
Okay, but we're talking,
But to answer the question, there's no other frontage on Fox Meadow that, or, so
Which lots?
if we just said, not opposed, and there's no likelihood of any other lots being added
Yeah.
or subdivided, then
okay, I'll take a motion in that regard.
Well, my motion would be that we,
What would the number of the house be?
well, the fire chief is saying
Fire
it's
chief's- yeah.
somewhere between 7 and 13, but he's assuming that there may be developable
How
lots.
did they get it in
so that's
before,
why-
before your place was built?
I don't know why it wouldn't be one. Is that the first
It
house
was a
you
gravel
come to?
road.
It was a gravel road, it was
So
a
he's
commercial
he's
business.
benefiting by,
Why wouldn't it be
Yeah.
one?
Absolutely.
between mail and
Is that the first
road
house you
services
come
and
to?
everything else, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a commercial building, it was a.
So-
Like I
Mr.
say,
Mary.
if there's an objection, I think he would be here, but
Who?
the homeowner.
Well, we're just, my motion is that we have no objection to the name change,
Because it's really not our purview.
because it's really not our purview,
Right.
and we defer to the numbering system suggested by the fire chief.
By the Public Safety Department.
Right.
Public Safety, please.
So that- Yeah,
Well,
that's a good idea.
I'll second that
Good idea.
motion.
Second by Gene, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, very
Thank you
clear.
very much,
I wish you, it makes perfect sense.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
You want the pictures?
Yep. Thank you.
Well,
I don't want to leave any of those. Any questions at all, feel free. In terms of collaboration between departments, to contact Kirk,
Oh, absolutely,
okay?
absolutely.
Our town planner, okay?
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
These people
Isn't it?
have an administrative nightmare when it comes to changing all those addresses.
Yeah.
So many things are affected by address.
It's funny, did you read the whole list of things that?
Yeah, the police chief even recommended, but
Yeah.
good luck, right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes
But
sense, and it seems like it'll be, from a public safety perspective, it makes a
Well,
lot of
that's
sense.
part of the vote. They know if you take that vote, everybody has to do this.
Right.
Lawrence,
Yes.
come on down. If members of the board can take a second,
This is all informal.
yes,
Then I can stay.
leaning towards, there's a letter from Mr. Cassidy in regards to his desire to add a building on his property to more efficiently run his business. And there's also, I think, that plan, what's that dated? All I see is, in your packets on D1, you can refer to both a letter dated April 2nd.
Yes.
And this is informal, so that, just be aware that we're really not asserting any kind of, and you know that too, we really can't say about what we will or will not do. I think this is a fact-finding situation, and also to hear what you actually want to do. And I'm gonna say up front that I recommend, like in past, to help you out, that, if we had a meeting during regular business hours with a member and the planner, or a member or two and the planner, and some other department heads, so that you're not running from one to the other to the other. Building inspector, for example, that, if the ZBA wishes to be there, or the conservation administrator, and then kind of come up with a plan that's best for you to get this done. But coming in front of us is typically, we do this, Cliff, right, to discuss
Sure.
the past and the present.
May I ask
so
where this is on Route 1?
It's next to Gina.
282, between Yankee Pine and Gino's.
Are people familiar with the letter that Mr. Cassidy wrote to Kirk?
Yep.
Has everybody read it?
Still don't know
I
where it
think
is.
Mr. Cassidy might have an update. Do you have an update to the drawings that?
Yeah, right here.
If you just want to, open it up.
Now, what are these, your conceptual drawings for your building?
Are you the landowner?
Yes.
All right, for the record, can you just for the record say who you are and your representation to the meeting?
Morris Cassidy, I'm the owner of Cassidy Brothers on 282, US Route 1.
And you do what?
We are in the blacksmithing business.
For a long time here in Raleigh, how long?
We've been in 79,
Okay,
but we've been in business since 65 when I started.
yeah, thanks. And, all right, so state what you wish to do and how it lays.
Well, I have it at what I call my recycling building out at the rear of the property. The property is 125-foot frontage by approximately 700 feet, so there's 2 acres. And this building here is a blast building. Everything is recycled prior to the painting coatings process of everything that we manufacture. So this building would primarily be a warehouse. And the back of it would be a new paint shop. I would be moving the paint shop from this building down here and modernizing it.
This is one close to Route 1, right?
Yeah, this is the one that's been here since 79.
And this exists way back then.
Yeah, this small area here, that's 26 by 50. This proposed building would be 45 by 125.
Now, what kind of outstanding, do you have any outstanding, like, certificates of compliances or order of conditions, or,
Yeah.
not outstanding certificate of compliance, order of conditions?
What's in my house?
Have you talked to the,
I didn't-
now, have you talked to the conservation at all?
Yes, yeah, they've worked with Seacamp Environmental Engineering,
Yeah,
and this was done, I think it was like 2007 we started this, and then I put it on hold because of the economy. Yeah.
I will say I did talk to Brett.
oh, this thing is dated 2008?
Yeah.
Okay.
He actually did say that he's familiar with this, that he would require an order of conditions for this building. Probably,
Notice of intent.
Yeah, a notice of intent,
Determination of applicable, or right to a notice?
sorry. Yeah,
No, okay.
and then also probably a stormwater management permit.
because of the size of the building.
Yeah.
What is the square footage?
6,000,
Okay, is it one floor?
1 floor.
Set pretty far back, so it's not a site issue, I mean, in terms of,
There's actually a tree line here. It's very difficult, even from the rear of this building, it's hard to see this building when the trees are blue.
and I also see that there'll be no bathrooms in the building, but there'll be a cement floor,
Yes.
because you're putting in the paint shop. You have a paint, everything you have there is licensed by the state, no floor.
You don't need a license now.
Not like.
When I did put the booth in about 30 years ago, you did need a license. And I had a 1-ton license. There's a 1 ton, a 5, and a 10. Now they tell me, because I contacted the state about this, and they said, it's the honor system now.
Kind of grandfathered
I've,
No, if you have started a new business, you don't need a permit. But if you have the wrong equipment or any problems, then you're in trouble.
in. Okay.
There's no residences nearby to speak of, right?
So you need filtration systems for paint?
Oh, yeah.
But there's not much paint stored anymore.
No, and the new system that I would be getting would be electrostatic, which
Right.
has a lot less VOCs and particulates, and it has to be a filtered system. So it's a brand-new commercial booth.
Right.
The booth that's in this building here is compliant with all state and federal regulations now,
Right.
and it's been there for 30 years, but the newer systems use about half as much paint. Because
Really?
electrostatically will come back, when you spray, the spray goes on both sides. The electrostatic charge unit though, makes the paint sort of turn around and come back and paint the back. So there's a huge savings
Wow.
in the cost of material. It's about 50%.
That's
Pretty
wow,
good.
Plus,
impressive.
there's less pollution.
Sure,
I mean, you have a filtered system, but
wow, I'm impressed.
there aren't too many people that have the equipment that I have. But if the EPA comes in and you don't have the right equipment,
Oh, I can
Very,
imagine.
very
I've
big
seen it,
fines.
Yeah,
so.
Is there anything between that older building and the new one?
Well, there's a tree line here, and there's some wetlands.
Yeah.
There's a gate over here that goes out this back building, but this is all trees right in this area here.
Okay, so in that middle, it's not really wet there,
Right in here it is, yes.
just there? and
Yeah,
then-
there's a man-made drainage ditch that goes down here that Brett was very familiar with. Okay, this is wetland behind here.
And that is a 100-foot.
Yeah, there are wetlands back there, right?
Yeah, and in between the two, between the wetland and that old building, is it paved? Or
No.
is it just gravel dirt?
Just gravel.
And isn't between the two buildings, don't we have access to conservation land between?
There's a 60-foot right-of-way between my property and Gino's,
Right.
and that goes to a 15-acre Concom site.
Actually, there is actually an easement out to Route 1 if people did wish to access
Oh, I
it.
did, see, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Get an
At
education.
one time, about 30 years ago, the Conservation Committee approached Gino and well, it was Charlie Weiner at the time, and asked us if we would, like, make a donation, because they wanted to put a roadway in there, a parking place, and, walking paths, and, we told them we'd donate certain things to the project. I guess since then, no one wants to do it.
But she did grant the easement, so they still exist?
I didn't grant the easement, actually, Mr. Purley did, who I purchased the
Okay.
property. He gave 15 acres to the town, then they found out they were landlocked. So they took 25 feet off of my lot, 25 feet off of Charlie Weiner's.
Uh-huh.
So that's what that open field
Once
is there.
the town buys the Girl Scout property, probably become a moot issue, I think.
Yeah, because there's the road, there's a stream out there, and then there's a road that goes all the way from the police station over to the Girl Scout camp.
Right.
Wow.
It kind of feeds into what Bachelor,
Right, yeah.
On the building, will the building be wooden or metal or?
Steel.
Steel?
Yep.
And flat roofed or
No pitched.
no pitched? Okay. And doors for,
There'll be one large door here, and 2 doors here, and 2 pass doors.
You don't need any additional parking because of this?
Yeah.
You said it might allow you to hire a couple, if it takes off, maybe 1 or 2
well,
people.
Since '79, I've had generally 22 employees, but right now we're around 17, 18, whatever. I may hire somebody next week, so I'm actually less than what we had for the last 30 years.
Tough.
But you've never had any parking issue there?
No.
He's got, no, there's plenty of parking up front.
Trailer trucks can turn around out here, then with this, like sort of a horseshoe drive, they can come around here and back into the building.
So that's the access, that's dirt road.
Gravel, yeah. The paving stops up here, the front of this building here. It's gravel all the way back.
The water generally runs from the property into that area there and goes back.
It runs both ways, over into the Concon, excuse me, area. Actually, Yankee Pine is here. All of their water runs into this drainage ditch, which is all on my property. So I lose about 15 to 20 feet just because of that.
Seems to happen on several properties.
Well, the previous owners of Yankee Pine property put the ditch in, and of course, they didn't put it down the middle of the line, they put it on my side.
But you're friends with Yankee Pine.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody gets along up there.
I'm just curious if Larry had any issues with this?
I haven't seen it or looked at it yet.
You want to mention?
I guess the only thing I was going to mention is, I talked to the zoning officer, and, he was just saying that he's established that it's considered a wholesale trade or sales establishment, and that this is the retail district, which allows this use with the approval of a special permit by the planning board. And then also, this is also grandfathered in, but I would want to point out that because of this is considered non-conforming, there would be the issue of whether as a non-conforming and expanding would actually require a permit by the ZBA, so we may want to.
Why is it considered non-conforming?
Because of the,
This is a retail district,
yeah, this is a retail district.
and we allow wholesale trade or sales establishment,
An assembly.
and assembly or light manufacturing, I'm not sure which you would
Which is
call
that
this.
is.
Light manufacturing
That's what it is.
Yeah.
and retail.
And it's assembly.
And what's, yeah, so it's a permitted use.
But it's not under, it's non-conforming because it's not under a special permit, and once you actually begin to expand it without a special permit, then it becomes,
No.
you run into the issue of it being non-conforming, wouldn't you?
Did it need a
I mean,
special-
it may be grandfathered in, but if you expand on the,
Well, if it's, you can expand a permitted use without going to the ZBA. If it's.
But this use would have
the-
required-
The principal use is permitted, even though.
it's permitted with a special permit
Well,
in this district.
that's another issue, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guess
What
that's
he's doing is a permitted use, even though he doesn't have a special permit, because maybe in those days we didn't require it, but
It was a different zone then, wasn't it?
Well,
does it make it
in
non?
79, it was approved for retail and light industrial,
Right,
basically manufacturing.
right.
It actually,
It was actually, well, those uses were allowed before 79. We just broke off part of the retail district, the area on Route 1 north of you. We made that the business light industry
Business light.
district. So they were permitted uses where you are before that, I think.
That's correct, we did that at town meeting.
Right. But I don't know, I mean, it's a permitted use in the district. He's expanding a permitted use. I don't think you go to the ZBA for expansion of a permitted use. I mean, I think you come here.
I don't know.
I mean,
That's why you say.
we'd probably check with the ZBA first, so, I mean.
Or building inspector.
Building inspector is.
And see
Yeah,
if
he's
they-
sort of like the traffic cop, you know.
All right, well,
I mean, he didn't really say anything about the ZBA's involvement, but I was just noticing, I don't know if we've had a chance to really, because when this
Well-
comes actually to a site plan.
Well, we've established, all right, now, with questions on the table, I'm not gonna beat this to death. I know, are there any other things about this project, other, in your rep, that you wanna tell us? Are you willing to meet, if I can get, what time of day or of the week or time of day, if I can get the building inspector who works in the mornings?
I'm generally there 9 to 5 every day.
So, technically, what time do you get here, Kurt? or even Larry at
Nine
that
o'clock,
point.
sorry. In the are you talking about a regular?
Having a meeting, I want to get the building
Yeah,
inspector
yeah,
in with you.
I'm here at 9.
Do you
each
want to
day.
attend it? Because you're more familiar with the history of this
Uh,
than I am. I can attend it too, but
I'm sorry, what day?
that's what I'm saying. What day is best for you?
Doesn't matter, any day.
So Kirk can call and we can set this up. And you would like it set up as soon as possible? You know,
Whatever, I'm not,
The next
I'll
week.
I'll be,
I waited this long.
Waited 5 years.
Yeah.
I'll be working at home Tuesday, the next day after town meeting, next Tuesday.
All right, how about you? You want to try Tuesday?
Tuesday, I'm actually not here on
Oh,
Tuesday.
you're crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah,
Any other day?
Friday?
Friday's fine? Next Friday? Is that all right? You wanna try
unless you want to
Friday?
do Tuesday
Oh,
evening.
yeah.
No.
Um,
Tuesday evening?
Building, you won't get the building.
No, he's not gonna want
oh,
that.
you're not.
No, earlier the better. He's in there at
I
8
don't blame
o'clock.
him.
I'm just saying, I'm not, Fridays, I do consulting
Fridays.
on Tuesdays and Fridays depending
In the
on
morning,
what's, so I can't guarantee a Friday.
So it has to be,
But, I mean, I'm here
so it ends
Monday.
up being Thursday.
I can make Thursday.
You can't make Thursday.
I can.
But Kirk can't.
No.
I can do Thursday.
You
You can.
I'm here
So
Thursday.
Thursday, at what time?
9 to 5.
All right, 9 o'clock. We're gonna shoot for 9 o'clock Thursday. I can make Thursday as well. I can't make Wednesday. Everybody has different days.
A week from Thursday.
Right.
Yeah, week from
And we'll see if, I believe the building inspector might be pretty flexible on this to get this done, right?
Yeah.
And that way he can give you the proper,
Well, we think it would be, what would be involved would be filing an application for site plan review with this board and going through the permitting process. But we can clarify that on.
that's what we're trying to do, clarify. And
Concom.
if you have to file a notice of intent, you can do it concurrently, you know, so it's not like, so it can happen hopefully in an efficient time span. You know, that's the goal, all right?
The process is not gonna take very long with us.
Because we don't initially see many impediments.
It will take longer with the
Do
town.
we see any?
No.
I don't see anything wrong.
No.
Any other comments from board members? on
It
that?
sounds like you're gonna be storing less material than more with the new booth in place, right? So it's not like there's any environmental issues.
Well, I have a lot of stuff, equipment that's like outside, like trucks,
Uh-huh.
things like that, construction equipment, and I kinda like to keep my yard clean. I like to get it inside. And an advantage of this building is, in a snowstorm or in a rainstorm, I can load trucks, trailer trucks.
Which we have every day.
Doesn't happen very, no.
No, I'm saying we have our weather last
Yeah.
Friday.
You know, so there's gonna be 2 5-ton overhead cranes in it, so a trailer can fully back in there, close the doors, load the truck, and then the driver takes off in the morning or whatever.
With the stock.
Yeah. I don't get many truckloads leaving there, usually it's smaller loads, but occasionally you have truckloads for large jobs that are going out of state.
You're pretty well known for great work.
You're pretty-
Great stuff, yeah.
You're more than regional, you've done
What kind of
stuff.
business is it? Fabricating?
Blacksmithing. We
No,
have
it's really,
open hearth coal forges, gas forges, air hammers, we have a machine shop,
Did
fabrication
you do
shop.
something for the White House once?
Well, we've done, we did the vice president's residence, the security in front. We've done 3 jobs in Guam for the government. We've done a lot of work in St. Croix. We do a lot of work in New York City. We do a lot of work for Ivy League colleges because they all have old ironwork. Harvard, MIT, and all those, Dartmouth, Bowdoin.
Should tell them about your website so they can see your work on.
Yeah, and we do a lot of very high-end homes.
I'd like to go on a site visit. You guys are
It's interesting.
well, we just,
If anybody would like a card,
it's gonna be kind of like this
website.
only, and then we'll just site visits after.
Sure.
Sure.
I see you.
All right.
Okay, you'll check it out there.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I never do your, I didn't even know you were down there.
Remind me so I don't forget, 'cause-
Did my daughter email us?
You want one too?
No, I know.
You want just pin or you want?
No, I'd like to know what's
It's
present.
hard work.
Ken, Cliff?
I never even knew it was there.
Oh, is that why you were?
Cassidy, you.
This is informal.
Yeah, I know.
Randy, Randy.
But that was, I seemed
I
to
think Larry.
pick up that you had a conflict, that would be it, huh?
Brent, Ken,
Did my balcony,
That way we can just
stainless steel
help
balcony
them.
rails.
He designed my house.
get it submitted, get it advertised, get it.
Forgot about
Do you
that.
live in town?
Klein.
And also give it a timeline, you know, just it'd be nice to
One of
just,
the better houses.
My
I
brother
want kind of
actually
be on the
lives
same page, because this
in Rowley.
never
He
had
lives
permit
over
like
the
this.
business,
that
and
you
when I
have
got
one
the
interpretation,
permit from
you
the
may
town
have
in '79, it was also for a
But
three-bedroom
it didn't mean
apartment.
that it would be both.
It's only
ZBA
two-bedroom now,
and
residence
I
and
like an
office
either
conference.
or. I
He
wasn't.
lives in
Well, let's just find that out.
Not sure about the jurisdiction.
That was-
I didn't know you were there.
We can ascertain that.
A lot of people drive by, the building doesn't
All right.
look that big from the street, it goes back 150 feet.
Right.
So it looks kind of like a,
You get enough information for tonight?
oh yeah.
Okay.
He could tell you.
Next.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Would you like any of these copies?
Yeah, leave it with Kurt. You want one?
Yeah,
I
if
got
it is that,
these are
that's
four-
an update.
Four dated ones.
Okay,
And
great.
thank you.
great,
We
thank
have
you.
a town planner now, so.
All righty.
6 months.
Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you.
See you, buddy.
Charlie, another informal hearing regarding 4 Main Street. Charlie Ware of Meridian Associates proposal to construct building and parking area for salon and 1 additional retail use.
I think it's a great idea.
Good. We like to hear that.
That's where that foundation is, right?
Where
Yeah.
is 4 Main,
Yes.
where's 4 Main Street?
It's the last, as you're heading towards Ipswich, it's the last.
Oh, the one on the right?
The last one on the right. There's a,
What are they
Is it-
doing next door?
There's a foundation there.
And that's
That's
next to
in
open
Ipswich.
space too, right?
that's,
Ipswich
I have
open
no
space?
idea.
Ipswich, oh, he's putting it, what? The ice cream?
What farm is it? Is it Ipswich?
Don't even,
Oh,
let's not go
okay.
there, okay? Well,
So then I do know that.
I want to focus on this, but there's
There's a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
This is.
there's
this
open
is-
space next to you, right?
Yeah, there's Ed Sotheby.
Isn't there, Ipswich has it,
Is there?
right. Ipswich
Yeah.
has access to a little parking lot.
That's on the other side of White Farms.
No,
Yeah.
that's on, yeah,
That's
that's
not
on the
us.
side.
That's it.
Well, I know it's
That's
in
in
Ipswich,
Ipswich.
but,
That's on the other side of White Farms. You have this and White Farms.
okay,
Then-
thanks, okay.
Anyways, Ed
Now I'm
is-
worried.
This is Ed Sotheby. He's the owner
All
of
right.
the property.
Quickly, there's a conceptual plan E1, just so directly to members.
And Ed also owns the Village Pancake House.
That's what I read.
What he would like to do is he owns this property, which has a foundation on it. And it was originally installed for a single-family house. But he would like to put in, as we mentioned, a salon. And it's actually a family thing. His daughter wants to open a salon in town. And so he wants to put this building out for his daughter. He thinks that she'll probably take down about half the building. So we're also, we don't know exactly what would go in there, but the other half would be retail. There's about, the footprint's about 2,500 square feet, give or take, so it'd be a single-story building. For a salon, or, I mean, either one of those uses, retail and, you know, either small retail, the salon would probably fall under either consumer service establishment or
Right.
professional services, however you wanna call it. But
It's
it
professional.
certainly is allowed,
Consumer services.
certainly allowed with site plan approval in this district, so. And the parking is, for both of those uses, would be about 5 per thousand.
Is all the parking behind the building?
Yeah, that was what I'm showing here, is to
Right.
bring,
Okay.
because there's not a lot of room in front of the building.
Well, I think it's a good idea, anyway.
Yeah, we bring it around, we only need about, this sketch shows 15 spaces. By the code, we probably need 12, 12 or 13, so we would come in with something. The site kind of slopes away towards the back, there's no wetlands. There is a stream much further back, but well outside the riverfront area. In fact, I don't think the riverfront area even comes onto the property, I think it's out in here somewhere, so.
You
there's
own this
no-
property now?
I do.
Yeah. yeah.
Any thought of putting a residence on top of the retail?
It could.
Mixed use, you might as well do that.
Gives you a little bit more
I'm
height.
open to that.
Are you open to it?
I am, yeah.
It might have to be affordable, though, that's, so that's, might have to.
Right. Still pretty good rent,
All right, so where are
though.
we
The only
at?
reason I'm bringing it up, it gives
Yeah,
it,
no, that's
it
fine.
gives it a better scale on the street.
Yeah.
Where are you at in the design phase here?
Alls we've done is set up this meeting, and I drew this little sketch, and I looked at the zoning.
And you will have historic,
So that's why we're here, is to
Historic
get
district,
input from this,
If it's,
right.
if you wanted to do a residence, it would be under our New England Village Development bylaw. So you might want to take a look at that, and that's, because
Tell
otherwise,
them which one.
I'm sorry, I'm looking for it.
Supposed to know all these.
Because that's a provision that allows mixed uses in the central
And
district.
that's a special permit.
Yeah. It's at page, it's section 6.7.
Maybe enough square foot.
Might as well get them all at once.
Right. Well, one of the issues is the septic.
The septic design is, yeah. I think when we were looking at it, the salon's kind of a heavy user.
Well,
So we'd have to increase the size of the septic in order to do that.
Don't they have, it's a heavy user, but do they reuse any of that water now? And have salons gotten more creative with that sort of thing? No, it's still the old fashioned, just down the sink and out.
Yeah, the only
Either the system or a filter or?
No, the only thing that gets, the only specialty item in a salon is you dedicate a sink, the perms and the chemicals that you have in a perm, you dedicate a sink to rinsing out the perm, and you have a tight tank that gets pumped.
Because
So because you can't just
some of that's
dump
pretty
it.
noxious stuff.
Yeah, right.
It's better than maybe it used to be, but.
Right. So that doesn't go into the septic system, it goes into a tank and gets pumped and taken off the site.
yeah, I mean,
For the perms and the colors.
For the perms and the
And there's
colors.
some air change requirements too.
I'm sure
If
it's
you
a-
do nails or anything like that.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So this hasn't even been perked yet or anything?
No, the septic system's in.
Is the
That's
septic system
the other reason
Oh,
why
okay.
already
we're
there?
a little bit reticent about saying, okay, we'll increase the size of the septic system, because the system's already here. It's right here.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree
So-
with you, Dave, I think that could work, I mean,
On the
that
parking
would
lot?
be,
It's under the
Resi-
parking lot.
Residents?
yeah.
So this foundation was put in to hold the whole, was that a whole, why
It
was
was
that?
put in to be a
Did you
single
put that in?
family
I
home.
didn't put it.
That
in.
was done
I bought
years
it after
ago.
the fact.
Years ago.
Somebody ran out of money and.
Was there a limit on how long you can, foundation, building inspector?
Well,
Well, that's
what's
a-
there is there, so.
People sometimes do
I think
it.
it's up to the,
Yeah, it's not a
Building
problem.
he's gonna work that out with Kenny, but I think if he's got an engineer
It's
telling
kinda like
him
Hold's
that the
permit.
foundation is sound, I think it's
It's
okay.
existing.
But it's the same footprint, so you're not expanding it at all?
No, we just wanna use the existing
Yeah.
footprint.
Is this in the historic district?
Yeah, I
Yes.
believe it is.
Okay, so will they review this and review the architectural details?
Yeah.
So do we need
The
to?
reason they're looking at me is because my significant other is the chair of the historic.
Then you can't.
Otherwise, I would look
Then
at
don't comment, then don't comment on it.
Well, I mean,
Then don't comment.
this is a
I mean-
very positive
I know.
thing. I mean, you've got a historic
it
building
adds-
in part
Adds
where your
intention.
restaurant is.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, is that some, my question was, is that something you think we should look at, or should we defer to the historic committee?
Defer.
You
Well,
can-
we have kind of done it concurrently with them in the past.
That's, that's the best way it worked on downtown on
No.
Kenny.
Right.
With Village Green, we did
Yeah, I
it
mean, so I
we did it
think we
concurrently.
should see the architectural drawings.
Well, what I'd like to do is suggest, and I have no problem with it, is not, when I look at the site plan review, it says provide elevations of all four sides of the building and floor plans and all of that. What I'd like to suggest is that, you know, 2 elevations of the building might be suffice for this board.
Yeah.
I don't know what, I can't speak for the historic, what they might
Mhm.
want.
Talking
3
about
sides.
historic, was this part of the property, you came to us about 5 or 6, or it might even be 10 years ago, with a project for like a village
Correct.
stores with houses
Oh,
on
yeah,
top?
right.
Correct.
Was that part of that project
It
too?
would have been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you had bought that property
Correct.
additionally? Right.
Gee, good memory.
Yeah, sometimes
Wasn't on
it's
the
terrible.
board, so-
But,
So you-
When mixed use wasn't allowed.
yeah,
Right.
But when pushed by a
Oh,
family
that's right.
member, it's gonna happen.
No, I'm just saying.
But now, once your
As
daughter
long
wants
as it's
something, it happens,
changed,
right?
you know?
Well,
But
he's
also-
not going for mixed, you guys brought up the mixed use, and we'll consider it.
Just go with whatever.
He really wants to put a place up for his daughter, but I'm sure he's listening,
Right.
thinking, oh, maybe if I can do residence, but I know the septic system, I don't know if you want to touch the septic system or not.
Well, just look into.
Well,
with-
Look at the numbers.
with
Well,
help.
that's
Yeah,
what
we
we have to
did,
do.
we already did.
It would have to be affordable, but,
I mean, the numbers of the
That's
septic
that
system.
onerous.
I don't, well, just, you need to know that.
Yeah,
Under the way our bylaws written, at least 10%.
but sometimes the affordable, the quote-unquote
Yeah.
affordable apartment rates are more than what you're getting on the open market
Right.
sometimes, because they
No, I've
go,
seen that lately.
you
I
know,
know.
they go
Yeah.
by by rates that come out of Boston.
And
So,
you looked into
but-
that, you found that out, yeah.
What I'm saying, Charlie, is to look at the whole piece
Mhm.
and that foundation imaginatively
Right.
to the best advantage of the client
Right.
Charlie knows that, it's better to do it all at once.
and what's best for the town.
Yes, no, I agree.
It's-
All right.
it-
Any
We all
other-
can be winners then.
We're gonna,
It's a great,
a few questions I would like to ask is again, is just in terms of,
I like these, you writing it down, this question? You gonna submit any questions to him on email or anything?
I know he would like to try to keep his professional costs, his soft costs down, so things that, for example, we'll do some lighting on the site, but I wasn't gonna do a full-blown photometric plan, not on a site this small. The landscaping, we'd like to, I think he's got somebody that can do a landscape plan for him, but it's not done by a registered landscape architect. I don't know if that's okay.
It's okay with me, we're talking about a small.
That's what I
It's
mean,
okay
it's a
as long
small
as it looks
business.
good.
community.
Yeah,
I'd rather have the money, I'd rather have the money go into the landscaping and not the plan.
As long as it looks.
Charlie, in all due respect to your
Yeah.
firm,
Practice it.
Yeah. And then
the money into actually implementing.
No, and I agree, and that's why that's why I'm having this
Yeah.
discussion.
Right.
You know,
The
take
other
1,000 and put it in
The other thing
shrubs
too,
rather.
and maybe Larry could weigh in on this, is right now, this, whether or not we do stormwater management on the site. This is a long field that runs off our site, so what's gonna come off of this, it's just gonna run across that field, and that's where it goes now. So I don't know if, we certainly can put some stormwater management in this field, but I don't know if we could get away with
If
not
I had-
putting anything on it.
All I would care maybe is just have some, maybe a little gravel. Something like that, Larry, just to capture some of the sediments.
Firewall.
I'll defer on that. I think I should answer that
Like the
tonight without looking at it, but,
Right.
Right, this is.
you know, Meridian does a great job with their low-impact development, LID type of, which can be done basically with just a little grading.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we're not gonna.
If
as
you've
you
got
know,
that
you-
much room.
That's
You
fine.
can't pin us to this.
No. I understand, but this is, but rather than be sitting here with a
That's why-
design at the first meeting, I wanna have this discussion here,
Right,
so
that's
at
the
least,
purpose, that's why we're here.
right, and it, you know, kinda, I think it's helpful.
The members have any problems with that?
No.
That we're
And I understand once we're in front of you.
you're deferential in terms of, for a site of this magnitude, that we're not looking for 25 pages of plans.
Right.
Right.
Try to keep it
Is
simple.
that right?
I agree.
And as long as Larry's going to be looking at it,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
then, I know, of course, but I have to say it.
Saw that, so-
No, I mean, just be in compliance, you know the zone, just that you're in compliance, that the note, you know.
Right,
What's the number on this? 4?
number 4. But I know.
There's 2.
I don't think we need a
I
total
don't know.
photometric
That's a
consultant
good
plan.
point.
Goes from 4 to 12.
We don't need a total photometric consultant plan with lumens and.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
We know you know what you need in the historic district, because you can look at that. and,
yeah,
To use full cutoff fixtures.
you
Yeah,
know,
and
it
no
takes-
flashing
That's-
lights.
That's all I care about. Yeah, no flashing
no
lights.
neon.
I wanna be
You're not
cons- I
blinding
wanna be
people coming down
consistent,
one
Mark.
end, you know, turning, you're being conscious of the public safety aspects of being on one end.
Yeah, absolutely.
It isn't like I put a truck out front with the strobe lights on or something.
What's the next question?
You know,
No, that was
That's it?
I think we're done.
The
Okay.
photometrics plans, the light companies will do that for nothing.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, we're probably only gonna put one light here, and with a cut sheet, it gives you the
Get it.
photometric spread, so you
Yeah,
can just look
Get
at
that
this.
second
You know,
floor and it's right
just
on the
doing the cut
house.
sheet.
Right.
So,
As much information as you can do for the least cost.
the only issues that I have with going, the lighting, and you probably run into this too, Larry, when you have the lighting company do the light plans for you, they're selling these lights, so they'll tell you, well, you know, one light pole doesn't do it for you, you need 3, you know, that's my only beef
So you get the,
with the free
No,
light.
so you
I
have to
pick
look-
the light and then tell them to do the photometrics.
Yeah.
yeah, so you have the locus and they show you, yeah.
Right. So,
Any other questions, Charlie? Any other?
I'm fine.
This is potentially a positive.
oh, I think very much so.
So I think
yeah.
it's very positive.
Yeah, good, I'm glad to hear you say
No,
that. I was hoping
that
you would.
place is an eyesore.
Yeah.
It hasn't been there for a long
No,
time.
I agree
It's
that-
a-
Well, I thought
It's
Ed
the
was gonna put
gateway to
some
the
flowers
town.
in there at one time.
It's a gateway to the historic The old
Right.
historic district.
You gonna put any more paving in the parking lot of the Pancake House?
Would you like me to?
Let's move on.
No, I don't,
It's part of the
It gets
historic
busy.
value of the places. People like that, you know, parking on the grass.
I'm glad it's doing well, that's all I'm
Yeah,
happy
yeah.
about. And I hope it
Well, it's
continues.
very
Beautiful
select
place.
from day to
Thank you.
day, too.
Thank you.
You know?
Yeah, I hope it continues.
I like the old.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
good.
Thanks, Charlie.
Okay, thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
See ya.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
This is housekeeping items, project updates from Kurt.
I guess the only thing I was wondering on project updates is maybe with Cindy Lane, if we could,
Everybody listening?
Yeah.
Because we're in April, we're almost May 1st now, and if there's a fall town meeting, which we don't know for sure, but there could be, depending on what happens next Monday, for example. Okay.
you have maybe drafting a letter or something to Mr. Aluzara, and maybe deciding what kind of leverage the board has to get him motivated to actually complete all the things that he needs to complete to get it onto the town meeting. So we don't have to get into a position of him coming up to the winter and then he won't be able to do anything.
Well, I guess what you're asking for us to be a little proactive, or
I mean, I don't know, I think we made it clear to him he has to get going. I mean, I don't know why we need such a letter, but, you know, I guess.
I'm not saying we need paperwork, but is it okay for him to maybe check, because they work in the same office, remember there's some stipulations from the conservation issues that were really unfinished,
There needs to be, I just feel like there's probably gonna need to be some way of either maybe having him come here and give us an update every so often, or
Charlie.
letting him
Yeah.
know that the town, I mean, I don't wanna suggest, I
Cramp
know
up.
we don't wanna take on these projects like Herzog Lane, we don't have to, but that the town, it is leverage the town has to be able to just take the money and finish it. And so that would be something to, maybe that could, you could,
I mean, asking him to come in to give us an update is not a bad idea.
okay?
a regular update, maybe every couple of months.
No, next
No,
meeting.
just
Next meeting?
Next meeting.
Okay.
I thought there was a lot of hurdles for him to
Not as many, well,
Well, he's got, his
Before
main
it
thing,
gets back
actually,
to
he's
us.
gotta clear that lawsuit, or that filing.
Right.
He gets some
procedure.
conservation
Right.
issues up there
And
too,
so,
doesn't he?
You know, it'd be nice to know if he's actually done anything about it.
It'd be
I wonder
good
if
to
he's-
see if we have him come in several times throughout the
Seems like
year
he's a-
into the fall, and each
do
time.
you have
see
notes from that
progress.
meeting we had with him? Here?
I'm
Are
sorry?
there any notes that originated from the meeting we had, the last meeting?
Well, I had like a set of summary notes.
Right,
Um,
so follow, okay. I think we need to,
I mean, we know,
I mean, it's only in behalf of those residences, so they don't go through another winter.
Right.
Uh,
It's just another loose end. you
It's a
know,
big one, though, it's a big one.
That it's been, talking about historic, it's going to become the historic
Proportion.
development of Raleigh.
if we let it go past the
It's
fall, you're gonna be in the
decades.
same
Gene's
position
known it
next
from
year
the
as you were
beginning.
this year, because that TPA comes up due that same time next year.
Right, it does, yeah.
So we'll be at the
We should
same
make that.
place, and if he hasn't shown any progress, it's gonna be.
And give fair warning.
Oh, yeah, well, that's
We just
been
need
the,
to do what we can to maybe actually motivate.
it's not a bad idea.
You know, it seems to me that he's gotta hire himself a consultant to try to
Yeah.
figure out what needs to be done,
Which we
what-
can.
you know, and he
He's
was
gotta
looking at
get-
us to try to do that for him, and
Yeah.
That's correct.
But I think the city should be prepared when next year, or the town should be prepared next year when it comes around to May, and if nothing has been done, if we're in the same position, and
We need months
and
of
we have to
leeway.
renew that bond again, but there's nothing changed since the last year. What is the town willing to do?
Well, like Cliff said, he had orders of conditions, I mean, that's what he should be going by, right?
The site plan. He
Yeah,
goes by the
exactly, the
site
site plan. I
Yeah.
mean,
plan. And then he's gotta hire a lawyer to get rid of that legal impediment, whatever it is, you know? I
we'll
mean,
just get an update. There's a way you can get a status out of it.
You did some
Yeah.
research on that, too.
Well, I did, only to the extent that
To
there
get
was a
more
consent
confused.
decree that was entered in 2006, but that was sort of, wasn't the end of the inquiry, though, because it went to an administrative court at the,
Right.
not administrative court, but administrative board hearing, and that decision wasn't available to Superior Court.
Single. A single, Joe?
No, it was administrative through the DEP, I think.
yeah, right.
So,
That, yes, that's what Steve's talking about.
right.
And that's what
So I did not research that.
And I thought that was,
But, you know, you need an aggressive lawyer or just go in there and get that expunged. I mean, they just don't keep these things going forever, I don't know.
Right.
It's 07, right?
Yeah.
That's what it says, right?
I've never heard of anything.
I never heard of appeals going that long.
Yeah.
I mean, in my experience, I've done a few appeals myself, and they're fairly quick turnaround.
This thing's 20 years old.
The state doesn't want them.
Yeah, but
No, it's just,
you get kicked around at every turn, you know,
The state doesn't, because the state has fewer employees now, they don't want these things, you know. You saw when.
Well, let's get him in for an.
Even with the
Yeah,
conservation
I think it's a good idea.
restrictions,
Do we need a motion on that?
no.
Okay.
Kirk, that's true, that's a good. Because, you know, I think it's only fair to the residents not to wait till the last minute if we ever get to the point where we're faced with.
Oh, when is the
For
bond?
next May's
yeah,
last meeting.
next February 26th, right?
Is it next February?
Yeah, sometime.
And we've been,
I mean, I think we're at the point where we're just gonna say, we're gonna take the money.
we have been, I think, quite cooperative through the.
Yes.
We've been too cooperative.
Well, I think part of it, in deference to the fact that he was still building houses on those
Then-
lots, but now, that's not the case now.
No,
No,
Well, if we
Right.
take the
They've all
money, that's
been-
all we'll
yes.
find it.
yeah.
that's not a subdivision.
I'm just, yeah, that's right, you can't talk about that one, but I'm
Probably
saying,
Probably not,
more, I think
all
all the
built
houses
out
have
as
been
far
built,
as
yeah.
that,
but it will at
All
least get.
all the lots have been released and the houses have been either started or built or sold, so that's one.
How much money is it?
230,000?
Oh, it might be enough.
But we don't know what, yet we don't know, well, we
What's
did
it
have
gonna cost?
the engineer that
No,
originally.
more and revised, he came in and gave a good report and revised it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got more
And
money.
added, yeah, and added the more contingency based on some of the things you were.
Right.
All right, so, all right, that's fine. Right,
Okay.
That'll be good. And
And,
then,
can I go and bring up this stuff with the El Tapatio, Tapatio? Sorry.
Anyway,
I don't think we really need to bring it up. Brief, yeah, in
Well, I
two,
just-
in 2 sentences, it's just that
Yeah, they
they're
want,
coming before us.
yeah, they want to come before us,
Based on
we
the-
need to set it, like, decide on a time to meet again, so we can put them on the
All
agenda.
right.
Just requiring public
Okay.
meeting.
So that now, because they want to release, they want to get a,
Restaurant.
they want to get a
Silver
CO
Brothers.
for the next retail use in the.
We have to s-
Every
check the
CO
parking
depends
now,
on
so-
parking.
It says in the COV that they have to come before
Bunch
the
of
board
conditions.
each time.
And that gives a chance for us to, and our consultant to, and our planner to make sure that the conditions are being met.
Yeah.
Because we allowed some relief on, we phased this to try to save money and without requiring all the parking up front.
Mhm.
And as you can see, maybe parking hasn't been a big issue, but Larry will have a chance to go out maybe on a busy night. We can't keep adding retail uses and not be cognizant of what our intent was.
I know they want to meet as quickly as possible. so-
Well, that's, well, it's clear, it's clear what the permit says, okay?
Yeah.
And the building inspector is working closely, and when they came into the building inspector for a CO, he pointed that out, that, read the COV.
So El Tapatio is the landowner at this point?
No,
But why
just a
they-
tenant.
That's what I thought, so when they're asking for an additional retail use, why isn't the
So-
landlord petitioning?
The landlord is involved,
Oh, okay.
and a representative of the landlord did, well, associated with the landlord came in. The potential user, the user came in asking for it and had not been cognizant of what the requirements are.
Right.
They are now.
Okay, so,
So what date?
I guess it depends on.
Oh, we should look at date now. Ooh. Well, we
Yep.
have town meeting is
Next
When is town meeting?
Monday.
the 5th,
Yeah.
right? Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
always party.
Cinco de,
How appropriate.
Cinco de Mayo town. So we probably 14th?
There's the 14th.
That sounds okay.
12th.
When's, is town election the next day, the 6th?
No, it's the 13th.
Okay.
What is happening on the 14th?
My due date.
Oh, I know. I was looking good at
And
the
not
spring
for
concerts.
baby either. For a pony.
Congratulations.
For a
Tell us
pony.
something.
Your birthday's the 14th?
No,
Mine's the
Your birthday's probably tonight.
no,
It's your last meeting.
yeah.
14th, okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
No? That's what you said. That was one of those dates?
What day is the 14th? Wednesday.
What dates? What dates are these? Oh, that's the first one. So that wouldn't be the 20. Well, you're just gonna have to. All right. Well, everyone else can be here.
Yeah.
Full-time member, ostensibly.
On the 14th, I suppose.
Presumably.
You'll be sign. You'll be.
I can sign all.
You running against anybody?
Heir apparent.
Nope,
Eric
just,
and-
You'll be sworn to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
just the,
so-
Got big
I'll go down to town and.
That's all I got.
You've got big footsteps.
All right, we're gonna-
Shoes to fill.
All right. So then.
You're busy
No,
today.
Chris,
All right,
no,
so
you're all
it's
right,
the
Chris.
14th, Wednesday the 14th.
Oh, man.
Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good
Larry?
to me.
Thank you.
14.
7th or
Okay. I need some. Any others? Any?
Yeah, that was, yeah. Oh, I want to get just quick clarification on cell towers about, Ken has had a couple of people come in asking about cell towers and then citing that tax relief act. And my understanding was that, like previously, there was a situation where they were doing a replacement in kind, so basically taking antennas that were already there and replacing them, so that would be covered under the Tax Relief Act.
What does the Tax Relief Act do, say?
Well, it's basically
I was the one who told
saying,
you about it, but I can't remember what it said
yeah, we
exactly.
had discussed it before, but it basically, it covers like, exempts them from site plan, review.
If they don't change the height?
Yeah, if they're not, yeah.
If they're maintaining, adding,
Yeah,
or switching on equipment, updating equipment.
Mhm.
But if it's a brand new tower, they're not.
brand new
exempt.
tower or expanding, my understanding is that it
I
requires.
think they may
They would be.
exempt it from a special permit review, but I'm not sure about a site plan review, but.
It shouldn't, the
I'll
building
take
inspector is
another-
trying to help on an interpretation. At this point, his feeling is, and we could change, that's why we're,
I'll
that's
take
brought
a,
up, that if you add 5, let's say, brand new antennas, if you're adding 5, there might want to be some oversight as to how, what those are.
why don't, the email I
But-
sent you about that, why don't you forward it to all the members and they can
Okay.
look at the laws and
Yeah.
fiscal
But
law.
that doesn't sound like a tax relief act.
No, it has nothing to do with
It's
that.
it's kind of a
It's
permit.
helping the cell tower industry.
I see. It's just- But under the, as an amendment to this tax relief act,
Yeah.
it sounds like, okay.
Yeah, it's one, those things get
Gotcha.
tacked on forever.
Uh-huh.
So his interpretation, and I tend to agree, is that if it's a brand new antenna's being put up and you're expanding it, in terms of even its visual, its use, that's different than just switching out old equipment,
Right.
right?
Right.
And there are 2 cases here. One where they want to switch out equipment, and the other where they actually want,
Expand the tower.
yeah, so, and some guidance in that respect as to how to.
You'd still seem to think you need some kind of a review of the switching out, because they can certainly change the type of components they're using that might, venture into expanded use.
Well, the switching, it seems to me that that's more of a structural issue that the building officer would take care of.
Yeah, the
building
inspector,
There's
yeah,
no
that's what he
need- there's
wants,
no
some
site
guidance in it.
changes.
Okay.
Until you really, there's change on the ground in terms of expansion of the impervious surface.
Pads,
Mhm.
and
Adding, we're adding
And
new
obviously the height.
ground equipment.
Also,
Maybe
adding
I'd say
more units on the tower. too.
Yeah, but that's kind of a structural issue that can be addressed
Right.
by the
Replacing
building.
one.
He can look at the
antenna to
engineering
another,
plan.
I don't
Yeah.
have a
And
problem
then
with
decide
that.
whether it's expanding or
Yeah.
They're gonna have 10
just
more if
replacing
things
things.
got busted up there.
Yeah.
If you're increasing the height of the
His office back
tower.
over to here.
Right, and he's in those, he's not saying that they're exempt.
Mhm.
He's just saying in certain cases, it could just go through him, he could issue it, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all need to look at the law and see what it actually says, but I can't,
Yeah, email
frankly,
it.
can't remember what it says.
Are you gonna email it around again?
Yeah, I'll.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
Sounds good.
And then we can,
discuss it at
But
the next meeting.
is there any, yeah, we can discuss it next meeting, but also, we have these two cases so that we can get on the same page with the building inspector, so we're on the same page when this comes before him, so that we can't say that they should have come before us when they didn't have to. That's all.
Yep.
All right. Is there any-
Okay, I got bills.
Oh, no, no, I'm not allowed, I don't want bills right now. So I do want to recognize Gene Petrillo's many years of service in the planning board,
How many years of service?
11.
and.
I was the first associate member.
That's right.
How many?
Great position for
11?
you.
11.
And I wanted to thank her publicly for exemplary service and knowledge and expertise to help out the planning board from some, times and when the town was developing at a rapid pace.
Yeah.
Should I say it's been fun?
Well, I should say, Gene and I have worked the longest together, and it's really been a pleasure having Gene on the board. I'm really sorry to see you go.
I am too.
You've been a pillar.
Absolutely.
I just like her
Absolutely.
logic, I just like the
Right.
way
My
you
logic?
think. Yeah, it's the way you think.
So I really hope you will consider this associate member position, just the way.
That's what you can say.
And I will be talking, I'll be talking to your husband, see if I
No,
get
you
the door
don't.
slammed in my face.
You
He
probably
doesn't,
will.
he doesn't, he says it's up to me. It isn't, he's not saying
Of
done.
course, it's up to you.
And Gene,
I take after my great-grandmother.
and Gene has basically a perfect attendance record
So-
in spite of sometimes when she probably had she's very dedicated, put it that way.
So can we try to get you on the agenda, the Board of Selectmen's agenda, so they can appoint you as our associate member?
Honey, are you watching? Yeah, you can.
We won't require perfect attendance as the associate member.
Yeah, right, I mean,
So,
All right.
again, thank you very much.
I should have brought cookies.
The check,
You can send them.
the gifts in the mail.
right.
No, we cannot prove it. so-
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know how you do it, because, I don't know.
You
You
do it.
clip both, I don't know. All right, bills,
Oh, yeah.
thank you.
I have several bills.
One other,
Larry?
maybe, I see that Hawksworth is coming up in a month.
It's true, 5:31, yeah.
Yeah, they almost made the fall town meeting, and then it fell apart. I guess they're not making the spring town meeting.
That's another reason why they might need a fall one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were so close, and I forget, what the problem was, but they just couldn't get it done, so.
You want to pull them in the 14th?
Hmm?
Should we contact them before the 14th?
Well, I think you just, maybe Kirk can contact them and tell them that you want them to get the bond extended, get this security extended,
Right.
because they're not gonna make the town meeting, so.
Yeah, they need to come in today and they make that formal request.
Extend another year, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like, I kind of feel like maybe that should be also the same way as, we should pursue that.
All right, you want to pass
They're
these
not the
around?
same, I don't think they're the same
No,
as the
they're
other.
not, they're not.
Want to pass these around?
They
While
were-
it's being passed
they
around,
were-
look at the minutes?
Anxious, they've got other lots though, they wanted to get this done.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
That's right, thank you.
Let's see, I'll let,
All right, Larry, you can go home.
Second time this month.
All right, you'll be happy when these are signed, is that what you do anyway?
Okay.
You'll be happy when these are signed.
maybe what I should do
Oh,
is just
okay.
lay these out here so that,
Yeah, you're just giving me. That's right.
and if you want to take a look at it, I'll just pass,
Well, start that one.
just keep them
next
together.
And
until-
have you looked this over, Steve?
time. Yeah, need to sign.
Oh, okay.
Minutes,
No,
the bills?
yeah.
No, I haven't.
Oh, and I do have a time sheet for this week, so I'll pass that around to
Yeah, get that done, please.
anybody that have to come
Good,
back in.
good, 'cause I'm not coming here often.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good
Hey,
night,
Larry.
See you
Sorry,
later.
I'm leaving.
Oh, your jacket.
That's a good idea, I left it here last
It's pretty
week.
cold.
Yeah,
You would
Dave
notice.
will take it home and wash it for you.
I like the new look, Larry.
Oh,
Should
yeah.
I say the old look?
Sorry.
Sarah, well, tell her thank you.
Oh, the beer?
Got a little out of hand this one around.
This is a nice one, I was.
Like a mountain.
I didn't recognize you at first, that,
He would have
Are
remembered.
there cameras all over Ipswich you were trying to hide from?
Yeah, sorry about the Patriots, that didn't last long.
See ya. What am I, these?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, look these over. I have to do the additional. How much is left in the
Oh, that was,
account from Larry? Not the revolving, but the budget account.
I think that $3,000 is highway free. I might have sent that around with those sheets. There's a sheet at the very end.
Oh, that
has
just
the
shows.
status.
Oh, you did send it around, because it isn't in.
I didn't mean to actually, but.
That's fine, actually, next meeting, I do want a budget report.
Oh, okay. You mean other than?
Just kind of, if you, yeah,
Oh, because that.
because it gets us thinking about
Yeah.
the future. And
That would say, there's, so you're saying, like a report in, like, on.
Just what's left in, we only have two
Yeah.
accounts, the expense item and Larry's item,
Yeah.
that's it.
Wouldn't it be a good
But
idea?
I've always attached that sheet.
Okay, that's fine, people are looking around, all right,
Why would the bank pay that?
sign that,
I think
and
I've asked-
Do we need any more signatures on this? Or
Three is all you need.
three.
This is so many sheets of paper.
What are these, more of them?
God,
that's a lot.
One's Verzak
So we
Lane,
don't pay
the,
this.
for the street
No,
acceptance,
no.
yeah, that's
There's some things we pay for, but I don't.
Oh, that's this one here.
Yeah.
I think this comes out of,
on this one, do we need more than three?
No.
Okay.
Like this is what fee, you have to pay for
The only
this?
thing you need more than three is a special permit.
Oh, there it is.
Who missed one here?
I missed one?
No, I think it was Cliff maybe now.
All right, people looked at the minutes?
Yep.
Yeah, I want some further discussion on the zoning articles, because you don't actually say what the articles would do, and I think you should,
Here, this is yours too, I just shouldn't.
These are.
I think you should add a few sentences saying.
All right, we're on minutes now.
All right.
Saying what the articles would do, and you could just use the sentences right out of the, the planning board explanation of the zoning article. But
Okay.
in other words, it's impossible, well, it would be difficult for someone reading the minutes to figure out what are these articles about, and what do they do?
Okay.
Yeah, because you're just saying we read it in regards to it, that's all.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I wonder if you want
People
to,
agree with that?
I wonder
Yes.
if maybe,
So you're gonna bracket in and put like a summary of what the article is?
yeah, I wonder if maybe he should just, we should take these up at another time after he makes that change.
I'll make the change and bring it
All right,
back.
okay, it's gonna make, so that's a substantial change. Are these, well, they're being endorsed in the coming town meeting, right? They're being voted on, right? In the coming town.
Yeah, right, yeah, Monday.
And that's for both of them, Cliff? That's for marijuana?
Yeah, right,
Well,
right.
now, okay. You know the indoor recreational facilities?
Yeah.
Is there something, just for the point of thinking down the road, and just so the board can think about, there's been some, in two cases, where people would want to put in some outdoor recreational facilities associated with commercial property, or zoned commercial property.
Like what?
We don't really, like a soccer field or a basketball court, and potentially up on Forest Ridge, and a soccer field up, potentially up by Saeed's land. But it's really not allowed the way it's.
A commercial facility, you mean, or
Well, I mean, it's
public?
commercial, it's light industrial, it's zoned.
Yeah.
Commercial.
But you're not talking about a public field or?
Could be, I mean, that's what, conceptually speaking, I mean, that's what it's not really allowed now by our zone.
No, well, the commercial isn't allowed, I don't, the public thing, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
think-
some of,
I don't think
when I'm
we've seen
thinking of
it.
that, it's a blight right now in the landscape. It's basically been scraped and lumbered and out. And if someone wanted to put a soccer
You're
field
you're talking about the self-storage facility out
there,
on?
next to it, no, to the left.
Yeah, right.
If someone wanted to buy that piece of property.
If someone wanted to do that, I think we would be interested in hearing their proposal and then.
Site plan
if it's
But I'm just saying, the zoning as it's written now doesn't allow it.
No, no.
I'm just so the board members know that.
And that's kind of where we were with facilities bigger than 20,000 square feet.
Right.
Well, we're open to it, let them come and bring the plan.
Yeah, and I think that's the way to do things with large projects, rather than,
That's right.
rather than change the
I'm
zoning
just letting- I'm just
before
letting
you've
you know.
heard about the proposal.
That's
you
just
know?
an FYI, just,
Yeah.
you know, just people. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, because I didn't, if someone took I don't know, potentially it could be a school up in Forest Ridge, which has been vacant all that time. You know, if there was a school, they might want a recreational.
Well, schools are
Even
separate.
even a private?
Private schools and public schools are in separate
Okay.
categories.
So they come, let's just cross that bridge, right?
Yeah.
Just- But it's kind of interesting as we, you know, try to make these zoning more and update them, you know?
Yeah. The never ending process.
So, any, on the minutes also, what else?
That's it.
So just the
So we're gonna
article
take-
descriptions at the, just draft those into the.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're gonna do that.
Let's see what the article.
We'll reconvene May 14th with Gene as an associate member.
The selectmen approve me.
Motion to adjourn?
Oh,
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I,
Go ahead.
can I just ask what people's preference is? Well, I guess with those of you who use
Oh,
the
thank you for bringing
email, the Dropbox is.
I hate Dropbox.
Okay.
I actually-
Didn't I tell you?
I absolutely love Dropbox. I think it's worked out really well. I mean, but it's just a preference. I
don't
use
mind.
a lot lately, and
I like it
But I
too.
mean,
I like it too.
you know, it's just, it's there, and you know we can access it.
Well,
and, you
some
know,
of today I was trying to print out that packet, and I couldn't print the packet out. I mean,
Yeah.
so what's the
I'm
reason
not
for
sure
that?
what, so were you able to access it?
What is it, on the email
Okay,
or the
Yeah.
Dropbox? Because then he said, I told him to send it again by email.
Yeah, I did send it
No
back.
problem.
And I printed-
That's
I
why
printed
ran
from
across
the
that
email.
single
thing.
file.
Yeah, I mean, probably what I'll do is like send it by email.
Boy,
But
grab
the
it.
other thing I went to Dropbox in the first place was I had.
Email
trouble
delivered by owl,
with the
everything.
size, with the email.
It's gonna be delivered everywhere.
At an inconvenient time, so.
Isn't it?
Working on the wall here.
It's kind of nice, it's kind of nice having the staff reports. And
It is. It's been almost too easy.
I mean, I would.
And, publicly, good luck to Chris in his election.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in.
And hope to
Did
see
we
you.
adjourn?
Yeah. Well, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second to adjourn. All in
already
favor?
made the motion.
All in favor? Aye, thanks. Did I
I
stand
haven't
up?
seen it. I don't know what.